What comes to mind when you hear the name Nick Kyrgios? Probably on-court outbursts, arrogant statements, squabbles with referees, occasional flashes of brilliance, and crashing out of grand slams after showing a bit of promise, right? The word no one associates with the Aussie bad boy is kindness, but it appears that even Nick has a softer side. And today, we'll be talking about a recent gesture by the Wimbledon finalist that has won fans over. First up, fans praise Nick after he helps out an elderly woman. The incident in question happened during the second round of the Washington Open when Nick faced off against Tommy Paul. At one point, Nick hit a wayward return that bounced unexpectedly high and struck an elderly spectator right in the face. Well, it's not like the ball was hit too hard. The poor woman was understandably shaken by the incident as she covered her face in her hands. Paul turned around and immediately went over to check on the fan. Fellow spectators started comforting her, and Nick decided to go to the other side of the court to do the same thing. The 27-year-old looked at her and realized that she was fine. Now, since the nasty incident wasn't his fault at all, he didn't really have to do anything at all. Even checking up was more than enough. But Nick didn't stop here at all. He offered one of his own towels to the woman, either as a souvenir, a token of appreciation, or maybe just as an apology. Although he didn't quite get the response he expected. Instead of smiling and thanking the Aussie, the woman just looked super confused and turned over to the fan next to her and asked, "What is this for?" But the crowd immediately appreciated this classy gesture and started clapping and cheering for the Aussie. The video went viral on Twitter as people gave Nick his flowers for being so classy for once. One fan said that they'd like to see more of this kind of stuff in tennis, while another said that it's about time we stop talking about Nick as a loud, brash individual. Yeah, he can be kind of disrespectful at times, but he's also repeatedly shown that he loves and appreciates his fans and always wants them to have the best possible experience. Safe to say, this act was very good for his public image. We all know that he's rarely ever in the news for positive stuff, and it's really refreshing to see this side of him. Nick went on to win the game, and a few days later, he triumphed at the Washington Open final in front of thousands of adoring fans. This was his 7th ATP Tour single title, and hopefully he'll win many, many more. Fingers crossed. Next, this isn't the first time Nick showed his class this year. Earlier this year, at the Australian Open's doubles quarterfinal, a frustrated Kyrgios whacked a ball into the court. Unfortunately, he hit it so hard that it bounced awkwardly and struck a young boy directly in the face, who immediately started crying. When the Aussie saw what happened, he was visibly upset as he gritted his teeth, put his hand over his face, and immediately raised his hand to apologize. He didn't forget about it and later went to the side of the court and handed over his racket, asking for it to be gifted to the kid, who was still holding on to the ball that had hit him. And after the match was over, he even signed the racket. The kid was all smiles as he took the souvenir home, and we're sure he'll remember this moment for the rest of his life. Yeah, he got hit in the face, but now he gets to keep a very special gift from the one and only Nick Kyrgios. In our opinion, that makes up for it and then some. And finally, what's next for the superstar? After making it to his very first Grand Slam final at the All England Club, Nick is showing absolutely no signs of stopping. Just a few days ago, he became the first person to ever win the Washington Open singles and doubles titles on the very same day. Seriously, who's doing it like him right now? This also took him number 37 in the ATP rankings, and he's getting closer and closer to entering the US Open as a seeded player. And now he's playing the Canadian Open in Montreal, and his campaign is off to an absolutely fantastic start. In the second round, he bested the current world number 1, Daniil Medvedev, in 3 sets. What's even more impressive is that he actually lost the first one, but managed to show incredible mental strength to come back from behind and eventually win the game, 6-7, 6-4, and 6-2. We have to say, Nick's in dangerous form right now. He's proven that if he's at his best, he can beat pretty much anyone you put in front of him. If he manages to stay calm, keep his emotions under control, and focus on his game, who knows? He might just go all the way at Flushing Meadows this time around. If you ask us, it wouldn't be surprising at all. And now it's time to move on to some more related news. Other tennis-related news. First up, Serena Williams is ready to say goodbye to tennis. It's the end of an era. For the better part of 2 decades, Serena Williams has been the biggest name in the world of tennis. The legend, who's turning 41 next month, has 73 singles titles and 23 career doubles titles. Understandably, many people consider her to be one of the greatest athletes of all time. In a recent Vogue article, she said that she's never liked the word retirement and claimed that the best word to describe what she's up to is evolution. She expressed that she's evolving away from tennis toward other things that are important to her. She has 23 Grand Slam titles, the most in the Open era. She addressed this and said that there are some people who say that she's not the GOAT ATP because she didn't pass Margaret Court's record of 24 majors, which was achieved before this current era. Serena expressed that, although she'd be lying if she said she didn't want that record, it's time to hang up her racket. The US Open will be the superstar's last tournament, and we're sure she'll try her best to go out with a bang. And even if she doesn't, it doesn't matter. She's still the best to ever do it. Seriously, have we ever seen domination like this in any sport? Next, Emma Raducanu crashes out of the Canadian Open. Soon, British teenager Emma Raducanu will compete in the US Open as the defending champion. But to say that her preparations aren't going well would be a massive understatement. She has consistently struggled with injuries and has failed to replicate the form that made her a star just last year. The world number 10 has now crashed out of the first round of the Canadian Open after getting beaten in 2 sets by Camila Giorgi. In the post-match interview, the 19-year-old said that it was a really good match and she just needs to get better at dealing with players who play as quick as Giorgi. Honestly, while Emma has been getting a lot of criticism recently, we believe that most of it is pretty unfair. Yeah, she became an overnight superstar after her incredible run in New York last year, but people need to remember that at the end of the day, she's still super young and is just starting off her career. She skipped a lot of steps to get to this point, and we all need to support her as she finds her footing on the tour. We're sure that as she gains more experience, she'll get better and will start winning more tournaments. Finally, Rafael Nadal has a shot at becoming world number 1 again. The King of Clay is set to make his return to professional tennis for the first time since pulling out of the Wimbledon semi-final last month. He's been nursing an abdominal injury, and it appears that he's almost back to his best. He recently confirmed that he's planning to travel to Cincinnati for the Western and Southern Open, where he has a chance to become the world number 1 once again. But he needs a bit of luck. Not only does he have to win the ATP Masters 1000 title, he also needs Medvedev to fail to reach the quarterfinals. This isn't as unlikely as it sounds because the Russian star hasn't really been in the best form lately. Rafa previously won in Cincinnati in 2013 and is currently 22-11 at the ATP Masters 1000 event. He's made it to the quarterfinals or better on 7 occasions, and we have no doubts that if he manages to stay fit, he'll do it once again. This is the first time he's participated in the hard court tournament since 2017, where he lost to Kyrgios in the quarters. And that's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on Nick Kyrgios giving his towel to the woman? Please let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Goodbye for now. See you in the next one.